Boom. All right, what's up, you guys? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to be talking about a few of our favorite Metaverse cryptocurrencies, Decentraland, Sandbox, and Render token. The crypto markets overall have been gaining some strength lately, but the Metaverse subsector is looking even stronger, which I know we all love to see. So today, we're going to keep it simple, just take a look at a few charts, talk some technicals, and I'll let you guys know what indicators and what levels I'm personally keeping an eye on, so we can hopefully get the best idea of where price action may be heading in the short to medium term future. All right, so let's just get straight into it. In front of us, as always, is TradingView, where we'll take a look at Mana, Sand, and Render today on the charts in that order. And of course, as always, next to it, we do have CoinMarketCap, just to take a look at 24-hour and 7-day price action, and actually look at the market caps of Mana and Sand as well, because that will come into play as we get into the dynamic that I'm personally seeing Mana and Sand play together. Okay, so again, that's pretty much the breakdown of the video today. But before we get into it, let me know in the comments down below, what are you thinking about Mana, Sand, Render? Are you bullish? Are you bearish? Are you accumulating at these levels? Are you waiting to accumulate at lower levels? Always love hearing your guys' input, so I'll see you downstairs in the comments. And just a quick shout out to the Discord. You guys, Discord Wave Season 2 is coming. Moderators Mason, Pidgey has been doing great work in here, and all the other mods as well. Shout out to all these guys you can see right here. Not going in any extent here because we're not quite finished yet, but just putting this on your guys' radar. Over the coming days, we'll have some big announcements with the Waves exclusive Discord, so just stay tuned for that. Okay, that said, let's talk Decentraland, let's talk Mana, and then again, we will go into Sand and close it out with Render on the charts. So Mana right now is looking strong. Keep in mind, we are currently on the daily candles. We can look at 4 hours as well if I feel necessary, but daily candles looking good. Okay, Mana is coming back. Mana has actually beat the rest of the market right now. As of today, we can actually take a look at BTC and ETH, which over the past few days have been looking stronger than Mana and Sand. But the reason I say the Metaverse subsector has been looking stronger is because they actually kind of leapfrogged the rest of the market in this upside price action, or in this extensive bounce, relief rally, maybe even, hey, race back to the bull run that we've been seeing over the past few days amongst the big players like Bitcoin and ETH. Okay, so Bitcoin, ETH up almost 5. I mean, Bitcoin, the king, up 5% 24 hours, 15% in the last 7 days. While at this point in time, again, Mana and Sand are actually down. Sandbox flat, Mana down about 3%. But again, that is because they've been outperforming the rest over the past couple of weeks now. Okay, so Mana still holding strong again, as you can see here, since Mana broke that resistance, very significant resistance, didn't mean to do that, very significant resistance right here, which is this yellow line. Boom, first point, next point, creating that line of resistance, broke out of it, came back down, retested previous resistance, as new support, and then ripped back up in the wake of the rest of the crypto market, seeing some love. Okay, now when we're talking about upside price targets, what do I think is going to happen? Do I think more upside is likely in this macroeconomic environment? I'm not going to get into macro here, you guys. I've been talking a lot of macro over the past couple of videos, but just go take a look at one. If you haven't watched them, go take a look at my past 2 videos covering the current state of the macroeconomic environment, because especially when it comes to hyper growth assets like cryptocurrencies, especially the Metaverse subsector of cryptocurrencies, the macro and whether tech stocks within the NASDAQ is performing really has a lot to do with the performance of these subsectors of the market. Okay, so if you haven't checked those out, go check those out. But today, again, just talking technicals, we'll talk the bull and bear arguments. Okay, at least my price targets in both cases. Okay, so the first level I'd be eyeballing, if we do see a continuation, if we do see more upside, is going to be this previous line of support that was confirmed right here as new resistance. Again, support, multiple touch points on daily candles here, creating a pretty strong line of support. Once Mana broke below that, you see a bounce back up to test that, once again, previous support as new resistance, until we ultimately saw that big sell-off. But hey, now we're coming back again. Shorter term resistance has been broken, followed by a nice parabolic rally off that break of resistance. And now I do think that for the first time since back at the beginning of this year, we could retest this previous line of support. Again, new resistance right here, retested once again as that new resistance. Now, February 15th, again, you guys, ultimately price targets when you're talking trend lines are ultimately dependent on when these trend lines are hit. So in the case that we do see this trend line this trend line tested on February 15th, that would take us to about $4.15, or a 25 to 27% increase from current levels at about $3.25. Okay, so maybe we see that. Short term, do I think that's likely like tomorrow? I do not. Short term, I do think it's more likely than not. We'll go to the 4 hours for the shorter term. I can hear the Discord going off right now. Do hop in there every trading day. But shorter term, you can see that it's pretty likely not only Mana, but Sand, Render, Bitcoin, Ether, because the past few days have seen such mania. I did say this in the newsletter this morning with Bitcoin. Like, at this point in time, when Bitcoin rips over a couple of days, it's more likely than not that most of the people who would have fallen into that parabolic price action and had them sell, like the bulls who would have gotten swooned by the red flags, or like the green flags in this case, I guess, just that parabolic price action really drawing in the bulls, really drawing in the hodlers to buy back up positions that maybe they liquidated a couple of weeks ago or something like that. Most people who would buy Bitcoin on the parabolic rally, same goes for ETH again, all of these as well, probably would buy about a day and a half to 2 days in, okay, because they're a little late to the party. So short term, again, I'm not going to cover this because this applies to everything in the market right now. Short term, I do think we see pullbacks to at least retest the previous highs of the short-term rally. So again, high, low, higher high, probably come in, set a higher low here around this level, around $2.90. Maybe even come down here to really set in a higher low around this orange level, around $2.70, because technically that would still be a higher low here, considering the low of this higher low is about $2.45. So as long as we're above about $2.70, I'm still bullish on Mana. I do still think there's potential for us to, again, come down here between this blue and between this orange and purple range right here, from about 270 to 290, bounce around, and then maybe head back up to retest once again longer term previous support now as long-term resistance. Okay, so that's Mana. And of course, you guys, in the case that the equity market starts selling off, you guys know I'm bearish equity markets. In that case, it will likely drag a lot of the crypto market down as well. Unfortunately, this could still be a bear trap. That's still very possible to me. Downside price targets are all right here. But again, we'll kind of cross that bridge when we come to it. Right now, we're celebrating. Right now, things are looking bullish. And if things do start to fall, these are some of the levels I'll be eyeballing. But again, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I'm always pumping out content. So, again, we'll just talk about that in the case that we see it. So let's talk about Sand. And again, we will come back to, I do want to take a look at CoinMarketCap right now just to talk about the dynamic that is being played right now between Mana and Sand. What did I do there? Okay, no, don't want that. But the dynamic, once again, that's being played between Mana and Sand. But before we do that, I do want to preface it with the little excerpt I wrote on Sandbox in this morning's newsletter, or at least part 2 of this morning's newsletter. Okay, so let's read through this and I'll expand on these points when necessary. As expected, Sand is starting to play its game of catch-up with Mana. Remember, Mana and Sand are acting very similarly to Riot and Mara back in early to mid-2020. Let me know in the comments down below as well. Are you an OG? You a Waves fam OG if you're around for those early days? Those are probably the funnest days. But if not, it's okay. This is fun as well. So that's a trend worth keeping an eye on if you're working to optimize profits. Technically, Sand is approaching a very significant level of long-term resistance that, if broken, will make me very excited about the potential for parabolic price action on a short to medium-term time horizon. Again, we will, of course, dive into that right cha. Until then, though, we wait with bated breath. I'll see you in the Metaverse video later today. Here we are. Okay, so, again, Mana and Sand, and I've said this before, are reminding me a lot of Riot Blockchain and Marathon, what was Marathon Patent Group, now Marathon Digital. At the time was Marathon Patent Group, when they were around the same price, like single digits. Again, let me know if you guys remember those days, the good old days. But in those days where they were single digits and they were playing games like a game of catch-up. Okay, so for example, Riot would surpass Mara, really go on a run. Mara would slow down, more attention would be on Riot, and then what do you know, something would happen. And then Mara would catch up to Riot and maybe even surpass that. They would constantly be leapfrogging over the span of weeks, months, okay? And that's the exact same dynamic I'm seeing with Mana. So, and when you kind of think about it psychologically, they're both very similar in the sense that they're part of the same subsector. Mana and Sand are kind of the key players in Metaverse cryptocurrencies. And Riot and Mara are the key players in Bitcoin miners, or at least at that time. Still to this day they are, but they were the two top dogs in Bitcoin mining and the two top dogs in Metaverse cryptocurrencies, okay? So that is what we're seeing now. Again, Mana did break this line of resistance, as you can see here, similar to what Sand is going to test. So Sand, in the case that Sand can break this short-term resistance, I mean, Sand kind of broke it over here, but Sand has a much clearer line of a long-term resistance than Mana does. So that's what I like to see about Sand. And I do think that if we are able to break this line of resistance, keep in mind, you guys, at this point in time, at the time of recording, let's say by February 10th, if you're watching this a little later, if Sand can, super conservatively, let's just go with this, if Sand can break and close a daily, just play it safe, if Sand can close a daily candle above $5, then we are off to the races. This long-term line of resistance, this yellow line right here, again, touch point, all-time high. Next touch point right here, very obvious line of resistance. Every trader is eyeballing this. If this is broken, which would again constitute a daily closure in my eyes above $5 per Sand, that would constitute a technical breakout on the long-term on like just the overall chart, on the overall uptrend, and that would make me very bullish that we will see a short-term, at the very least, a short-term parabolic price rally. Okay, also, I know some of you guys are probably seeing this as well. It's kind of janky, but there is kind of some inverted head and shoulders patterns in play. I will talk about that for render as well. You can see I do have it drawn a little bit here with render, which we'll get into right after this, but you can see kind of this inverted head and shoulders pattern. And again, just keep that in mind as well, but that would obviously require Mana and Sand to test this line right here. Okay, so on top of that, I just realized I do want to go back to the daily, because both dailies for both Mana and Sand look like this, which I personally don't really like to see. Okay, so on the daily Stokes, you can see these little guys right here. And Mana looks almost exactly the same. These two, I mean, are two peas in a pod. So we're not going to go back to Mana, but the same principle applies on the daily Stokes for Mana as well. Just keep that in mind. So if we zoom out here, what I don't like to see is that the daily Stokes, the daily stochastic RSIs, are about to curl to the downside. When they curl up, good news. You can see right here, curl to the upside, blue crosses over red to the upside. Good news, because then we see a little price rally. But now we came up and we're doing a double top on the RSI, on the daily RSI, stochastic RSI, and we're about to curl to the downside, which I really don't like to see. In the past, when you see these kind of double tops right here, boom, up, like up, down, second high right here, when you're seeing that double top on the Stoke RSI, curl to the downside, that's when you usually see a pretty big move to the downside, followed by a little rally. So right now, the reality is this is still a relief rally, and that's important to remember, not only again about these, but about Bitcoin, Ethereum as well. These are still constituted as relief rallies, okay? And again, the daily stochastic RSI on both Mana and Sand, double topping out, about to curl to the downside. That's the bear argument, and honestly, I'm not feeling super good about the fact that we do see a breakout and a resumption of the rally for all the macro reasons that I've covered in the past couple of videos. So again, go check those out. But yeah, hopefully we see it. If you guys are bullish, hopefully we see it. But again, I'm still personally hesitant, and I still have some dry powder on the sidelines. So didn't even plug it after this, but if you guys want to know exactly when I'm going to be buying Mana, Sand, if you want to know when I'm buying Riot, Mara on the dips, when my price targets are, how I'm going to be trading them once my downside price targets are hit, and also how I'm trading every single day. I do update my portfolio every trading day, and I also send out one of these newsletters explaining why I'm doing what I'm doing. That is going to be the first link down below. $15 a month or $40 for every 3 months, to each their own. Really means a lot if you guys check that out. Do my best to make it worth your guys' hard-earned money. And I'm biased, but I truly believe it is. And if you appreciate what I'm doing here, it's a good way to support me and get something out of it as well. Okay, so appreciate it if you guys check that out once again. But if not, no worries at all. Let's close the video out talking some Render tokens. So Render actually made the top 100. Just recap real quick. Mana is 30, Decentraland 30 with a $6 billion market cap. Sandbox, $4.2 billion market cap, $4.3 billion, I guess. Number 37. So as far as market cap goes, Sandbox definitely has more room to grow. And Sandbox, very promising project. So right now, I will say that Sand is a more appealing trade to me when it comes to the short to medium term than Mana. And Render token. I mean, Render really ripped about a week or so ago, but now it's pulling back a little bit. Render actually one of the few names in the red over the past 7 days, but that's because it ripped so damn hard, which will just like right here, it ripped so, whoa, it ripped so hard, so we'll just let that load. But nope, that's not Mana. huh? Boom, right there. So because it ripped so hard, like right here, it makes sense that over the past 7 days from right here, it is down a little bit. But still, render outperforming most from the low to the high here. Let's just take a quick look at this low at about $1.80, man. Who wishes they bought there? To the high we saw on, what is that, February 2nd. That was 140, so it's well over a 2x increase just in the span of a few days, okay? So very impressive price. Actually, I guess that's about a week or so. But very impressive price action. Render really bouncing hard. And love to see it. Love to see it reclaim the top, claim, I guess, in the first place. Top 100. So number 98 right now, 774. My lucky numbers. $774,000 market cap, which for the long term is dirt cheap in my eyes if Render actually executes on being the next decentralized, on being the decentralized version of AWS, which in Amazon's earnings, go watch the video where I covered Amazon's earnings, was kind of their, that's not even dark horse, but that was their cash cow. Okay, so let's close out with Render. Also, you guys, I just remembered, just to kind of push this a little harder, sorry, but I will be out of town for a week, starting Wednesday, leaving Wednesday night, gone until next Wednesday. Not really be making videos, taking my parents and my lady to the Super Bowl. I'm freaking pumped. Obviously, going for the Rams. Let me know who you guys got in the Super Bowl. But I will be gone, and videos are a lot less likely to come as frequently as they are now, but we'll be writing the newsletter every single morning, every trading day. Also hopping into the Discord as well. So I just wanted to give you guys that heads up right off the bat. So regardless, Render token, as you can see, once again, over the past couple of weeks has performed very well off those lows we saw to close out the month of January. But Render is still below resistance, and Render has a very, very significant level similar to Sands, similar to the line of resistance we're seeing with Sandbox right now to test as well, and that's obviously proving itself as resistance. So touch point here, all-time high, late November. Next touch point, very obvious line of resistance, and you can see that resistance is coming into play. Tested, broke once, did not close the daily below it. That's obviously the signal. Little bear trap or bull trap right there. Sorry, came back down. Tested 1, 2, 3 days in a row. Perfectly tested this line of resistance, and right now, Render also, again, the daily Stokes curling to the downside as well, which I do not like to see from a medium-term perspective. But bull case scenario, again, Bitcoin, Ether. In the case that Bitcoin and Ether do well, it's likely the rest of the crypto market will do well as well. Hey, if Render breaks out of this, if Render closes the daily closure pretty much anywhere above where we are right now, just to play it safe, if Render can see $4 again, I'll be pretty damn convinced in this break, and hey, maybe even this head and shoulders plays out. So as you can see right here, again, this is a clear picture of what kind of Mana and Sand look like as well, but head and shoulders pattern. So inverted head and shoulders pattern, I'm sorry. So we'll go right here, again, base of the first shoulder, shoulder itself, head, next shoulder, and then this would be the base or the resolution of that inverse head and shoulders pattern. That would bring us up to about $5.50 in the case that we do see this head and shoulders playing out, and it's honestly looking pretty, it's looking pretty damn solid right now. So Render, there's a lot of potential here, and hey, if we do play out this head and shoulders and go up to 550, that would equate to a 50+% percentage gain from where we are now at about $3.60. Okay, so we'll call it there, you guys. Let me know down below, again, whether you've been accumulating, if you're excited about which of these three you're more excited about. If there's a Metaverse token that you like more than these three, please share down below and why. And yeah, I'll catch you guys downstairs in the comments. So until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.